if my whole writing career is retelling and reimagining the American West, then I'm happy to do that. My name is Nina McConigley, and I'm one of the authors of Cowboys and East Indians.
My name is Matthew Spangler, and I'm the other playwright of Cowboys and East Indians.
Being an immigrant in Wyoming is its own special, there's just not a community at all. I really wanted to read and write a book about like what it's like to be an immigrant in a place where there is no restaurant, there is no grocery store, there are no other Indian. Like really, you are it. People always have a narrative of what Wyoming, Colorado, the West is, and it's usually a kind of cowboy masculine narrative. And I think it's been really fun to subvert that and to sort of say, no, there are stories, there are people that live here that are not what you think. I think Cowboys and East Indians is about the rural immigrant experience in America, which is not an experience that's talked a lot about. I also think it's a story about an East Indian or South Asian family in Wyoming and how they're trying to make a life there.
Okay, so we've known each other since high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I could put a number of years on that, but then I'd be aging us. And I read Cowboys and East Indians in 2014, 2015. And I write plays based on books. And I thought at the time that there could be a play based on the short stories here. And so I reached out to Nina and we started talking about it.
Yeah, it was really casual. We were like sitting over dinner and you were like, have you ever thought of Cowboys as a play? And I just thought, no, I have not.
You had no idea that was like a business meeting.
No idea. I was excited about the steak we were eating.
There aren't a lot of immigrants of any type in Wyoming, but there are some. And so this is a play about that immigrant experience. What does it mean to move to the rural American West, and Wyoming in particular, and see Wyoming through the eyes of these newcomers?
Seeing a reflection of yourself on stage is pretty powerful, and seeing it in popular culture is really powerful. And there haven't been a lot of South Asian stories from the American West.
The play, in some sense, is grappling with how do we make sense of our lives in this space and mitigate the loneliness that inevitably is around us. The possibility that we don't fit in, even when we should. Even when we should fit in, we should be a member of the culture or whatever, but we don't fit in anyway. And what do we do with that fact?
We both grew up in Wyoming. And in 1998, when Matthew Shepard was killed, that really put Laramie and Wyoming, I think, on the radar for a lot of people in the US. Matthew Shepard was a gay University of Wyoming college student. He was beaten to death. And I knew Matt. Like, we went to school together, we went to the same junior high, but I mostly knew him actually through church. We were in youth group together and we acolyted at church together. And he was a very real person to me. When I was thinking about the end of the book, that was talking about masculinity in Wyoming. And in the American West, we hear this expression, cowboy up, all the time, or, you know, be tough, or there's a sort of ethos of the Marlboro man or the masculinity of a cowboy that I think is really destructive and I think can be really dangerous. And I think when I wrote that story, Matthew Shepard was completely on my mind. I wanted to have a story in my book. Part of the story set in Laramie, part of the play is set in Laramie, that really addressed like this idea of what it means to be a man in Wyoming. You know, I think being an immigrant is hard. I think being a certain performance of masculinity is hard. I mean, I think it really started to become serious a little bit over the last like 2-3 years. But I mean, it's really hard to prioritize an artistic project unless you have support behind it. And I think when the DCPA came in and was willing to do a commission, it really changed it for us.
It is so incredibly rare, as you know, to have the sort of support that you have here for a new play. A play that's never seen the light of day, a public audience, right? A play that's totally just existed on somebody's computer.
I'm a fiction writer in my normal life, and so people read my stories alone in a room. I don't see them react to my work, and I think it's gonna be really surprising to see an audience and to see how they laugh and to see how they breathe or how they are listening.
Yeah, we came last year to see the new play summit, and we were really impressed with the plays and the experience that that group of people was having. We didn't know at the time that we'd be part of the summit this year.
But we were pretty inspired. I mean, we got to work pretty soon after that summit. I mean, we got the commission and we wrote. I mean, it was our priority this past year, and We have spent a lot of hours in Wyoming, here at the DCPA, writing, and it's been a kind of a magical experience, I think. It's interesting that Matthew and I were both talking, and I think for both of us, the first big play we ever saw was at the Denver Center when we were both in junior high. We took field trips from Wyoming to come up here to see plays.
I can't remember what else we did. That's amazing. Like, I only remember going to the Denver Center show and having
went to
dinner at
Casa
Casa Bonita. Those are the two things I remember. But the point is, like, I saw my first professional show here, like 40 years ago. To be working here now and to have this play on here now, literally in the same theater that we were in when we came down to see the show all those years ago, is kind of incredible.
Yeah, even walking into the rehearsal rooms, it feels like almost a little sacred, you know?